The day my shirt fought back. You know those mornings when everything feels normal, but somehow nothing goes right? That was today. I woke up on time. Miracle. Made coffee without spilling it. Another win. And I even picked a shirt that wasn't wrinkled. It was light blue, clean, kind of made me feel like I had my life together. Today was important. First day at a new job. Not a big one, just helping out at a small bookstore downtown. But still, new people, new place. I wanted to make a good first impression. You only get one. So I stood in front of the mirror, checked everything. Hair? Fine. Teeth? Brushed. Shirt? Buttoned? Wrong. Wait, what? The top button was in the second hole. The second button was also in the second hole. Basically, my shirt was trying to fold itself like origami. I sighed, unbuttoned it, and started again. But my hands were shaking. I was nervous. When I got to the bookstore, I smiled at the manager, a woman named Carla, maybe mid-40s, short hair, friendly eyes. She smiled back and said, "Glad you're here. Just in time. Could you help me carry this box?" Easy. I followed her to the back room. And then it happened. As I bent down to lift the box, I heard it. Rip. The sound of fabric betrayal. I froze. My clean, perfect, confidence-boosting shirt had split at the side, wide open, like it had given up on life. I wasn't even doing anything heroic, just picking up cardboard. I tried to hide the hole with my arm. Not smooth. Carla noticed. "Oh no, did your shirt?" I nodded, face turning into a tomato. She started laughing. Not mean, not mocking, just honest, belly-deep laughter. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Don't worry, the same thing happened to me once, except it was my pants." We both laughed, loud, like we were old friends. That moment, the awkward one I was dreading, somehow made everything better. I didn't have to be perfect, just real. The rest of the day went fine. I met the team, learned how to use the register. And yes, I kept my arm awkwardly glued to my side for most of it. But I also learned something unexpected. Sometimes your shirt rips. Sometimes your day falls apart before it begins. But people don't connect with perfection. They connect with honesty, with awkwardness, with realness. And thanks to that tiny disaster, I didn't just start a new job. I started being myself, even when my clothes didn't cooperate. The shoes that made me late. I had a job interview at 10 a.m. sharp. And not just any job. This one paid more than any job I'd ever had. The kind where they give you free coffee and maybe even your own desk. The night before, I was feeling proud of myself. I laid out everything: my best white shirt, black trousers, a simple black belt. And then the shoes. Brand new, shiny, on sale. They looked professional, powerful, grown up. But that was the problem. They were too new. The next morning, I woke up early, excited and nervous. I got dressed, brushed my teeth, and practiced my good morning smile in the mirror. I slipped on the new shoes and grabbed my bag. Left the house at 9:15 a.m. Plenty of time. 5 minutes into my walk, something felt off. My heels on fire. My socks slipping down. My toes trapped in a tiny shoe jail. "These shoes hate me," I whispered. But I kept walking. I couldn't give up. This job might change my life. At the train station, I tried to act normal. I smiled at people like I wasn't slowly dying inside. My feet hurt, my back was sweaty, and I still had 20 minutes left. Then, of course, the train stopped. In a tunnel for 10 whole minutes. No signal, no air, no clue why. The man next to me was eating something in a plastic bag. It smelled like eggs and something older. I held my breath and stared at the floor. When the train finally moved again, I checked the time. 9:52 a.m. I had 8 minutes left and a 10-minute walk. So I ran. I looked like a cartoon businessman, sweaty, limping, holding my bag in one hand and my resume in the other. People stared. A kid pointed. One woman laughed. At 9:59, I reached the building. The glass doors were too clean. I nearly walked into one. I pushed through and saw the receptionist. She raised her eyebrows. "Interview?" I nodded, out of breath. "Yes, barely." She told me to sit. I tried to smile like I hadn't just run a race. My heart was pounding, my shirt stuck to my back, and one of my socks had disappeared into the shoe. I carefully removed one shoe under the table, just for a second. My heel was bleeding, but I smiled anyway. This was my moment. Then I realized I had forgotten the name of the person I was supposed to meet. Panic, total panic. Just then, a woman walked out and said, "Hi, I'm Sarah." I stood up too fast and almost knocked over my chair. She noticed my shoe was untied but said nothing. We sat down. She looked at my resume, then looked at my shoes. "Nice shoes," she said. I laughed. "They're new. We're not friends yet." She laughed too, and suddenly I didn't feel so nervous. The interview was okay, not amazing, not terrible, but when I left, I felt proud. I had shown up, even when everything went wrong. A week later, I got the email. "We've decided to move forward with another candidate." My heart sank. But then a second email arrived, from Sarah. "Hey," it said, "I've moved to a new company. Same role, better coffee. Want to try again?" I smiled. This time I said yes, and I wore sneakers. The coffee that knew my name. It started on a rainy Tuesday, the kind of rain that's not dramatic, just annoying. Umbrellas bumping into each other, wet jeans, soggy socks. I was late. Again. I ducked into a small cafe near the train station, not my usual place. My normal cafe had a broken espresso machine, and I needed caffeine, like urgently. Inside, it smelled like cinnamon and fresh pastries. A woman with purple glasses smiled at me. "What can I get you?" she asked. Medium latte, no sugar," I said, brushing raindrops off my jacket. She nodded and asked, "Name?" Now, here's the thing. My name is Elio, not Leo, not Elliot, not Ella, just Elio. And every time I give it, people ask me to repeat it, or they guess, or they write Ellie. So that day I sighed and said, "Just put E." She smiled. "Got it." I waited, watched the rain tap against the window, thought about my meeting, thought about my life, honestly. I was 28, still figuring things out, still chasing jobs that didn't feel quite right. "Latte for Elio." I froze. I looked up. The barista, different one this time, a guy with a beanie and nose ring, held the cup in the air. "Medium latte, no sugar, for Elio?" I walked up slowly. "How did you get the full name?" He shrugged. "She wrote it, said you looked like an Elio kind of guy." I turned to the woman with the purple glasses. She was wiping down the counter, smiling like she knew a secret. Something about that moment, it felt like magic. No one ever got my name right, but she guessed it. Or did she know me? I sat down with my coffee. My mind was racing. Did we go to the same school? Did she know my sister? I took a sip. It was perfect. Warm, creamy, just strong enough to pull me back into the day. I looked around the cafe. Cozy chairs, a sleepy cat on the windowsill, jazz music playing softly. I suddenly didn't want to leave. A few minutes later, I walked up to the counter. "Hey," I said, a little awkward. "Sorry to ask, but do we know each other?" She looked up, eyes kind. "Nope, first time I've seen you." I blinked. "Then how did you know my name?" She leaned closer, lowered her voice like she was sharing something sacred. "I didn't," she whispered, "but you looked like someone who needed to be seen today." I laughed, a small, confused, amazed kind of laugh. And somehow, that one sentence, "You looked like someone who needed to be seen," meant more than any caffeine ever could. I walked out into the rain with a strange feeling in my chest. Not just warm, not just surprised. Seen. Sometimes it's not the big life events that shift something inside you. Sometimes a cup of coffee with your real name on it.
Great work today. Keep going. Every lesson helps you improve your English. I'm excited to see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fun lessons. Keep learning and see you again soon.